We are told the only way for a city like Bangalore to grow and handle a population is to grow upward. In front of me is the block 2 of Christ University. Over there is the central block, and over there is block 4. These buildings are not just educational institution properties, but they reflect the population density of the city. Each of these buildings houses over thousands and thousands of students on a daily basis, simultaneously having classes. This high level of population is reflected in the city that surrounds it, that is Eschipalia, with each and every plot of land building upwards. And this is a worrying trend. In economics, we see land as a finite resource. To accommodate such rising populations, we need more space for people to live. But this vertical expansion is not only an outcome because of the lack of choice that we have. It also is another means by which people can just expand their capital ownership. There is one way I can tell you. If you look below over there, we see a tiny plot of land upon which there is a tiny house. Comparing this tiny house, which may accommodate max to max of 5 people, to this giant PG next to it, which can house up to maybe 100 to 200 students. The difference between this PG and this plot of land is almost a 200 to 300x profit. That is the power of vertical expansion. Now the question remains, is vertical expansion sustainable for a city like Bangalore? Here's the paradox. While we keep on building upwards, we forget to build downward. Vertical expansion of buildings may solve the population housing crisis, but it strains and drains the horizontal infrastructure of the city. A high-rise building isn't an isolated feature, but it is an integral part of the system. To expand on the point that I'm trying to make, look down below. While the city is built upwards, the roads below aren't widening. Hence, as the population density increases, the traffic density on these tiny roads will be higher. The strain that these roads take would increase. To make sure that the person on the top of the building has water, the buildings must pump more and more groundwater from an already groundwater depleted city, using more and more electricity to make sure that water reaches to the topmost floors. We are building more and more concretized and steel structures in the form of buildings and high-rises in a city that is already suffering from extreme climatic and weather events. This spatial fix that we call the vertical buildings is only a solution to hold the population together, but instead it is creating a greater citizenry crisis which would lead to further damage than good. So the next time you look at a giant skyscraper in the city, do not look at it as an engineering marvel or a solution to a problem, but instead look at it as an actual problem on urban economics. A city that grows upwards is doomed to collapse without growing downwards first. Hence, a city that keeps growing upwards is doomed to collapse without strengthening its roots in its infrastructure, in its roadways, in its drainage, and in its basic infrastructure.